Welcome to Bosses with Baggage. I'm Sherry Sutton, your host and business growth guide. Around here, we believe that failures are our superpowers. So in this podcast, we'll explore the many ways that setbacks can mold, shape, and change your life and your business and ensure that you come out of the fire better than before. Through interviews with business leaders and discussions of my own personal struggles, we'll unlock the secrets to turning setbacks and low moments into opportunities to thrive. From approaching your business with a servant's heart to getting comfortable with being the face of your brand, each episode will be a safe, judgment-free zone to reframe the concept of failure with honesty, empathy, grace, and a whole lot of laughter. So are you ready? Let's go. Welcome to Bosses with Baggage. I am here with Christine Gold. Say hello, Christine.
Hi, everybody.
Super excited to have you here today. This is, as we've talked about, Bosses with Baggage, where we share our dark nights of the soul and how it's helped us to create a business that serves other people who've gone through something similar. So I'm super excited to hear your journey. First, tell us a little bit about who you are, where in the world you are, and what you do, and then we're going to dive right into the baggage.
Perfect. I am Christine Gold, and currently I'm in Calgary, Alberta. I am a nomad, so I love to travel, and travel is healing. Absolutely. I've even seen a t-shirt. Someone was wearing one, and I'm like, exactly. Because really, we're here for experiences. That's what life is about. It's not about stuff. A little bit about me. 20 plus years in corporate sales and marketing. And I was a corporate burnout, which many of my clients are. Life came crashing down in 2017 with multiple bouts of depression, anxiety, and 2 attempts to die by suicide. I'm very open about that. And what do? My new thing is I do whatever I want. But at a soul level, I am a medium. I am a Reiki master. I'm a coach. I'm an author. I'm a speaker, aspiring speaker, and a retreat host. So, and I work with a lot of folks that are highly sensitive, like myself, empaths, old souls, which actually 20% of the population in the world are identified as empaths. And what does that mean? Highly sensitive, wear their heart on their sleeve. We tend to be people pleasers, perfectionists, codependent. So we have things that we need to heal. But really at the soul level, we are beautiful. We are full of light. We are here to serve, but not to be a slave to whatever happens to be in your life. So you're here at this time. We all have a soul's contract. So you chose this. You chose your family. You chose your experiences. Yeah, I know. Read the fine print. I didn't read it. Ha ha ha. And there's a lot of that going on. But really, it's about responsibility and accountability and being vulnerable and going there. Like my mom, she would always say, I'm not going there. And as women, we tend to put things in boxes and compartments and tuck them away. So what ends up happening is when your heart can only hold so many boxes. And then it's going to show up as disease, whatever that happens to be in the body, because the body is always speaking to us. We are energetic beings. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So if we're not paying attention and taking and loving ourselves, because we tend to look at other people, we tend to look outside, when it's always been an inside job, and it is a job, it is work, but I'd say it's the most important work you'll ever do in your life. Forget everything else. Start with yourself. Because many of us, we haven't. We've been told we don't belong. We're weird. Yeah, I'm weird. I don't care. I'm crazy. That's right. I lost my mind and I'm never looking back because what I've seen in the illusion, and it is an illusion, is not the truth with a capital T, which is who we are. We are children of God. Now, God is not the scary dude in the sky that's sending you to hell. God is the universe. It is an energy. We are the stars. We are made of everything that we see in this world. The yin and the yang, the black and the white, the good and the bad. That's all dogma and karma. So let's be very aware about basically, dealing with our stuff and not going, well, that person, all that blaming that goes on, when you go through a bad breakup or you lose a job, you're like, oh, he was a jerk or they were terrible people. So you're basically never being accountable, and you're going to re-experience that somewhere else. And it's like the cat chasing or the dog chasing its tail. Only the dog enjoys that. I certainly don't. I don't like coming back and going, oh God, I've been here again. Okay, what did I miss? What am I bypassing? There's a lot of spiritual bypassing and a lot of toxic positivity there because, oh, I'm good. Right away I'm picking up, no, you're not. Why are you not addressing whatever's going on? Because it's going to come around and smack you upside the head. Or as I call it, the school of hard knocks. Been there.
And that's like the whole point of the podcast, right? Is like, how do we convert those hard knocks into something that's really powerful and beautiful, and find ourselves through that process. I love everything that you just said. And I think, the toxic positivity, we're obsessed with wearing all these masks. And I did a TED Talk about that recently, right? About how we wear these masks thinking that we need them in order to survive and to fit in, but really they're making us sick and addicted. And I totally agree with what you're saying. So tell me a little bit more, because you've alluded to it, but tell me a little bit more about, what that dark night of the soul looked like for you. How did you go from 20 years in corporate to kind of where you are now?
Well, everything had to be destroyed. I mean, if you think of the Phoenix energy rising from the ashes, you think of fire. That's basically what it was. It's like a trial by fire. And you do get through to the other side, but you have to decide, okay, you know what? The smoking, the drinking, the shopping, the addictions, the whatever it is, the toxicity I don't want to do this anymore. I surrender. And that's exactly, whether you're on your knees or you're praying or you're just, I've had enough. And then you start paying attention, because once you're putting that out, that's an intention. The universe is like, okay, she is no longer, or they are no longer willing to accept what they've been, what's been dealt to them. They want to try something different. Ooh, I love that. So then through YouTube, of all places, my mentor came in, this video popped up, and I'm like, why am I watching this? But I can't stop watching this. The way she spoke, her energy, and she actually said, your depression and anxiety are highly linked to you not living intuitively, not showing your gifts as a psychic, a medium, a card reader, whatever it is, the best mom ever. You're not living from your soul and your heart. You're living from the ego. And the ego is all about the triple D effect. I call it the triple D. Kind of borrowed it from Guy Fieri with his diners, drive-ins, and dives. So the ego is about death, disease, and destruction. So recognizing that the ego, and really it does block the third eye, the ego goes to the back. And it's interesting you say masks, because there's quite a few masks on my book. And that's really what it's about. It blocks your third eye, meaning you're not listening. Like when you're around someone and you feel tired, you feel yucky, you feel something. So many of us go, oh no, they're nice. I'm just going to explore that. Or maybe it's something you have not healed. Either way, it's calling you to look at it. So when she told me that, and she said, you have to record a 3-minute video telling me why you want to work with me, and you will become a certified medium. And I'm like, no one has ever said that to me. I felt seen. I felt heard. I felt acknowledged for the sensitive, beautiful light that I am. Not, oh, you're a problem. You need to be quiet. Go sit over there. We don't want any part of you. Where you feel like the black sheep all the time. Let me tell you, that dark horse always wins the race. So I did. But I had to get over myself. Like Michael Beckwith just recorded this amazing talk the other day, and he said, get over yourself. And that's really about the ego. The ego wants to control everything. The ego is all about me, like in a selfish victim consciousness. So I didn't want to go on camera because I was hiding, because I didn't want to be seen, because to be seen was to be hurt, was to be taken advantage of, was to be ostracized, right? So I did. And here I am. I mean, I've done hundreds of free readings and I had to read her clients as well. So I really had to get over myself in a way that I wasn't second guessing myself. I am open. I'm an open channel. And when I'm nervous, I focus on service. Why? Because then it takes the identification out of me. And we're all channels. We all have the ability to intuit whatever it happens to be. I am no more special than anyone else, but we all have unique gifts, talents, and abilities that we need to discover and find out why we're here. I've been told multiple times that in this lifetime, I am to complete a soul's contract to help teach others who are like me to come out of the closet. I mean, I call it the spiritual closet. Many people are like, oh my God. I knew it, but I dismissed myself. I let other people lead. I was overwhelmed and anxious, and I didn't take care of myself. I had no self-care practices. I didn't have any self-love. So no wonder I couldn't discern, is that a message or is that my ego? I get a lot of that. So the more that you have an inner sanctuary, the more that you declutter people, places, and things out of your life, the less heavy you will feel. And the more that you can stay at that higher vibration where anything that is not meant for you will not come into your sphere. So that's the biggest piece. And it does take work, and you have to, I am dedicated every day. I do multiple things every day to take care of this. I mean, we don't have a body, but in this physical world, yes. Taking care of the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, and in relationships. Those are the 6 quadrants that I feel many of us are doing really excellent on, but we forget oh no, I don't have time for that. Well, actually, you're saying to yourself that it's not important. I'm not sure why it keeps coming up, but I'm just going to avoid it because it's scary. And fear is false. Anytime fear shows up, sit with it and go, oh, I see you. Not today. I see you, but I'm going to choose love. Meaning I'm choosing myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Tell me a little bit more about just how you got here, right? Because I think oftentimes these spiritual awakenings come from these like dark nights of the soul, right? Like for me, it was alcohol addiction or, so I'm curious, like you're in the corporate world and you have this, what got you to the place of getting to that YouTube, right? Where you're seeking something different. What was, where were you? How did you get there? Because I think we want to sometimes,
it's great to talk about the other side of it, right? And we'll certainly do that. But I think it's important for us to really acknowledge where we were, so that other people who are there don't feel so lonely.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I stuffed my feelings literally with food. I drank way too much. I am now sober and have been for almost a year. I am also whole food plant-based. And how did that happen? Well, my liver was screaming at me. I had a fatty liver. So again, it was through these addictions that, these are all temporary. In a world where we want insta everything, that was the problem. We want the easy button. Well, the easy button wasn't working. The food, the relationships, the alcohol, the smoking. I mean, I wasn't a heavy smoker, but I smoked for 20 years. And I have been to therapy for years. And let me tell you, I'm not knocking therapy. However, if you're there for years and nothing is changing, you need to try. And there's more, and it's coming up, more trauma-informed therapy. That's what many of us need. And there's so many somatic practices, and I would talk about that later. But and the medication for the depression and the anxiety, all the side effects, being so highly sensitive, it wasn't worth it. So I'm like, I can't do this anymore. This is insanity. This is not living. This is existing. And one of my friends, she has an amazing program called More Than Existing. Whereas women, we tend to, we've been told to dress nice. And like my mom would always say, I'm looking for my knight in shining armor. We're always looking on the outside. And that's what I was doing. And until I had enough. I mean, I had some panic attacks too. And I think that really shook me. Not being able to breathe, scary. Meaning you're out of control. Red alert. Like, you need to stop. And it's time to fully live, because you're here for a reason. You matter. And we all have something that needs to be expressed, because many years of conditioning, polarization, dehumanization, for centuries. This is all intergenerational too. We have to heal that lineage. And once we do, we can thank them for they were doing the best they could with what they had. I mean, my mom was an alcoholic, my dad as well. So that healing, that was part of my journey, to look at the alcohol, to look at the food addiction, to look at the people pleasing and the codependency and the narcissistic relationships, including family. Yep. They are the biggest offenders. And it really came down to me not knowing my worth. I work with a lot of people with the worthiness wound, a lot of generational trauma, inner child trauma, meaning a lot of us had to grow up real fast. I can definitely identify with that. If you were the oldest, I'm not saying it happens to all, but it tends to be the oldest in the family that becomes the caregiver, that becomes the people pleaser. And then boundaries, which is really hard to practice. You have to practice in the mirror and feel comfortable saying no. And it's a complete sentence. Full stop.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm curious about your journey from kind of learning these things to making it into a business. Because I think so many of us have kind of these dark nights of the soul, and we have these, for most of it's a spiritual awakening, right? Yes. Whether, however, whichever way you look at it, is we are now different than we were before we went through this. And so how did that translate into a business? Because I think that for many of us who go through that, like we leave with this spark of wanting to help others, but finding the how that actually becomes a business. I'm curious on your journey on how that happened for you.
Well, it really comes down to healing yourself first. Then you really get to know who you are. You are unraveling and unlearning and uneducating yourself. You have to have a clean slate first before you can start. And it starts with you. It starts with meditation. It starts with what are you feeding your mind, body, and spirit, and including food as well. The more high vibrational food you eat, the more high vibrational you feel. Knowing your energy centers, your chakras, knowing your body intimately. And that takes time and that takes practice. Working with other practitioners, having a team of practitioners, whether it's somatic, a Reiki master, someone giving you a Reiki session, you're working with someone who practices acupuncture, cold water therapy, hydrotherapy. There's so many ways to really, you're trying to get the heaviness off. And once you learn how to open up all your chakras, you learn how to ground yourself. Exercise, absolutely. Movement, mind-body movement is huge. I like to do hybrid things like Qigong, Tai Chi, yoga, those types of things, stretching, Pilates. Going outside, especially when you're highly sensitive, you need to get outside and ground yourself. You need to be out in nature because that's very nurturing. You need to get off of social media. You need a detox, a digital detox, a whole life detox. Start somewhere. You got to start. I know it sounds overwhelming, but I teach people how to start building their own toolkit because you need a toolkit. You need time away, especially when you're highly sensitive. You need time to recenter, reground, refocus, redirect. Because when you're like, feeling very overwhelmed and anxious, you've come out of your body in a sense. You need to come back in and go, okay, so why am I feeling like this? What's going on? I need to take more time for myself. And a lot of us don't like being in crowds, like busy places, dark places like bars. I remember I used to go to the bar all the time and there was a lot of depressed people there, a lot of sad people, a lot of addicted people. So go to places that really speak to you, read books that really speak to you because your soul is, your team, your collective team, guides, angels, and loved ones are trying to get your attention, whether it's through synchronicities, conversations, billboards, repeating numbers, animals, dreams. Dreams are huge. I have a dream journal for a reason, and I teach people how to remember their dreams because that seems to be a big problem as well because they're not they're scrolling before they go to bed. They're scrolling when they get up. That is not how you start your day. That is not. I don't touch my phone for at least an hour, like checking email and all that. I check in with me first. I take care of me first. Same when I go to bed. I need to clear myself, whether it's a meditation, a prayer, journaling is huge. You need to do a dump because we tend to have, 80,000 thoughts a day. Oof, that's lots. So what are you focused on? Are you focused on everything that's happening to me, victim consciousness? Or are you going, no, that's an old experience I no longer acknowledge. I choose this now. I choose me. I choose, like that, I think of the Bob Marley song, everything's gonna be all right. I can hear it now. Who doesn't love jamming? I mean, music is huge. Sound healing, sound frequencies. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I play a lot of bowls, crystal bowls, Buddha bowls. I've been going into more mantras lately, Ayurvedic practices. Basically, just go where your heart, where it feels good, go to that. If it feels weird, go, hey, I'm weird. I embrace it. I'm going to just because we need to be more childlike. Where is your child? Where you had the wonder, everything was possible, and I'm just going to go and have fun. We have lost that sense of that because we were told, you're a crybaby, you're too emotional, you're too much, you're a daydreamer. Ugh. I mean, when I was in the corporate world, honestly, I probably had at least 30 different jobs. And I think that's the biggest clue. When you're jumping from job to job and you go into environments and you're trying to fit in and you feel, stop, reassess. And I say this very cheekily, tongue in cheek. My ideas are the best. And that's where I run into a lot of trouble. Because I've always been an entrepreneur. Always. I just didn't know it. I've always been helping and coaching and guiding and getting people to solve their problems. I've been doing that my whole life. Even as a child, I could pick up people's energy, like, ooh, what's going on there? So yeah, the corporate was never for me. It felt heavy. It felt dark. It felt constricted. Everyone was trying to one-up each other. It just felt yucky, I guess is what I'm saying. And I'm not saying all corporate is like that. It's changing. It's shifting. However, it was mainly male-dominated as well. Didn't like that either because there was a lot of toxic masculinity going on. Were really these men that claim to be CEOs or whatever are actually little boys that never got the love. They never got the love that they needed. Anyways.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about your kind of career journey, or, you realize you want to leave corporate, and because I find so many people, again, they have this spark of inspiration, but then it's like, how do I translate that into what am I actually going to do to support, to support myself? How do I find that fulfillment, right? And live this life that I want to live. And so I'm curious on how that changed for you.
Surround yourself with people that are doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
Who is your circle? If you're around curmudgeons, does anybody know a curmudgeon? Someone who's always negative?
That word. It's one of my favorite words.
Yeah,
curmudgeon.
That's a Carolyn Myss. Follow Carolyn Myss. She talks about the archetypes. Love it. Love her. She's been doing the work forever. You want to be around people who are illuminating and who are like think of the Oprahs of the world, right? Actually, I really love Marie Forleo.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. She, and how she talks about, she started in the 2000s. A lot of us assume that, oh my God, they're just Insta millionaires, Insta famous, Insta. No. Gosh, I think of Colonel Sanders. I think of, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting her name. Oh boy. There's so many women or people that have started in their 50s. Then they made it big. But they were doing all the stuff in the under you never see. All the work, all the gardening, all the tilling. I think of things as a garden, right? So yeah, the corporate, like I said, I jumped from job to job and I was like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like that. They're not open. Everything was very micromanaged. That was probably the biggest. It's so awful. Micromanaging. Just, yeah. So to make the transition, start reaching out to people who inspire you and say, look, this is where I'm at, and could you help me? Or do you know someone that could help me? And I want you to come out of the spiritual closet and say, this is who I am and this is what I want to do. Because once you do that, you've made a statement about yourself that I no longer, the old me is dying. And here's the new me. This is what I'm stepping into. And the people call it side hustle. You can call it whatever you want. But really, I'd say write a story about yourself, who you are, what you're doing, as if it's already happening. What do you want to be doing every day? Who are your clients? What do you want to be working full time? Do you want to be working part time? Do you want to be working on a beach somewhere as a nomad? Start really dreaming. And I work with vision boards. I call them dream vision maps because we all have an inner blueprint. So you've got to put stuff in front of you, whether it's on a computer. I do digital and physical boards. You have to see it every day. You have to feel it every day. You have to know it every day. It just becomes who you are. And start small. Reach out to people you already know, and they'll be like, yeah, I already kind of knew you should be doing that. Isn't that interesting when people tell you that? Because when I came out, I said I'm a medium and I'm going to be doing readings, and who wants a reading? All these people were like, yeah, we already knew that. How come I didn't know
Why
that?
didn't you tell me?
Exactly. Because I had to realize it myself. People can tell you do this, do that, but if you don't actually believe it, it's never going to happen. It's just about, people who are on their soapbox. You hear about people do this, do that, and I'm this and I'm that. If they're not at the level, they're not ready to hear your message, they're never going to hear it. So stop. Listen to yourself. And when you fully build out who you are and how you feel, things will start dropping in place. Spirit will give you breadcrumbs. Keep following. And miracles, we are the miracle. They happen every day. You have to believe that. You have to know that. You have to have faith. And it starts with a little mustard seed called hope. Hope grows into faith. And once you are clear on who you are and what you wanted and why you're here and who you want to serve, people will start coming in. Miracles will happen. When you think it won't happen, it'll come in when you least expect it, which I love. Those surprises are so much fun. It's like, whoa, where'd that come from? Well, thank you. And I say thank you. And I'm very grateful and I have gratitude because that is the attitude magnet for more. And if you're like, oh, I need that car, I'm going to get that $1 million. But if somewhere, and it usually starts in the root chakra or survivor energy center, our abundance energy center, if you don't believe that you're worthy of that, it won't happen. So you have to heal those parts of yourself first. And please don't say, I want to help everyone, because you will invite people, places, experiences that you don't want. And I was shown that a lot.
Yeah.
I was shown that a lot. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to do that again, please.
I didn't meet that kind of person.
Yes. And it was there to show you, another lesson. And we have to remember, with a world full of critics, don't be another critic to yourself. I had a client recently where she just kept talking about this and everything was negative. And I said, stop. I said, hold on a minute. I said, I'm going to reflect something back to you probably never heard. I like to keep it real. I'm all about, doing the work, and I'm going to call people out in a most loving way that makes them go, what? I asked her, I said, do you journal? She goes, sometimes. I go, okay, I want you to write something beautiful about yourself. And it took her a long time. And then I said, please read it back. So she read it back. And she goes, I don't feel beautiful. So that was her aha moment. I don't tell people what to do. I get them to illuminate it themselves. No one's ever said that to her. No one's ever had her do that type of a practice, because we tend to go, I'm fat, I'm too old, I'm a this, I'm a that. Whereas I am always worthy. I am always, ready. I am worthy of every beautiful thing that comes into my life. More of that. I am beautiful. You have to start speaking love into your life, into yourself. The more that you do, the more, like Louise, hey, I mean, that woman is amazing. Beautiful soul. I mean, if anything, start with Louise Hay if you don't believe in yourself. Because just being surrounded by her and her affirmations and mantras and declarations, decrees, whatever you want to call it, you start believing. I even listen to it at night sometimes, and then I fall asleep. So it's going into the unconscious, the subconscious, to become fully conscious.
Yeah, I love her. I just did one of her affirmation meditations a few days ago.
Oh, love it. Love it.
Yeah, I love her. I love her. So if somebody wants to, you've so much wisdom and have so much to offer people. I find so many people, particularly in entrepreneurship, who are highly sensitive people, right? Really struggle with the idea of becoming public with their message. They're very, and that's one of the things that I coach on the most is, getting them to a place where the mission and the vision and their alignment with who they believe that they are and what they're put here to do is stronger than the fear of the kind of reptilian brain that tells us I have to be part of the tribe or I'm going to, or I'm going to die. Right. And so I think could be such a good guide in that as well. I guess what would your piece of advice be for an entrepreneur who's just scared to show up because they know that they're an empath, they know they're highly sensitive. How do they show up in the world in a way that they don't feel constantly overwhelmed?
Well, one is take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Self-care, self-love. Build yourself up, buttercup. I believe that's a 70s song. You got to build yourself up. Then everything else will fall in place. You'll start to feel lighter and brighter and everything doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel, if it feels like work, like, pay attention. You're going the wrong way. I've been to many networking events, especially online, where as soon as I come into the room, I'm like, nope, not for me.
Yep.
Even though they tout that they're spiritual I'm like, no. There's a lot of that. So be very aware of that. Don't be so needy that you have to be part of everything. Be very selective and aligned. And I always ask, what would you do if you weren't afraid? You have that magic wand. What are you waving your Tinkerbell dust on?
Yeah.
And what's the gift that you hold in exile? Why?
Love that. What is the gift that you hold in exile? Yes. Love that. Because it's true, so many people do. They're just too scared to show up. They're too scared of putting it out there and saying what they really do because they're scared of rejection. Even, I have people who've been doing whatever they're doing for decades and they still have that fear.
And that comes down to, fear stands for false evidence appearing real.
Yep.
So it's false. 99% of the illusion it's false. So you got to have respect for it. And how does that happen? By discernment. By really sitting with it. And if you don't like letting people down, you need to practice saying no without an explanation. They don't need your explanation. And if you're not sure because you're still practicing, be like, I'm going to get back to you. So where you can sit with it and have more time with it, because you will become overwhelmed if you say yes to everything. And then you're not going to like where you're going. And then you're like, why am I here? I'm standing in the middle of the road. How did I get here? So,
and I don't want to be here.
Exactly.
I was following my bliss and now I'm miserable.
And many times we have a wound. Thornton Wilder said, without your wound, where would your power be? So many times when you're scared, there's a wound that needs to be healed. What is it? What is it?
And we're being given an opportunity to work through it. And if we take that opportunity, it allows us to evolve to a new place of ultimately being able to be of service to other people through our own connection.
Yeah. And it really is about the spiritual connection. I work with many people that go, I'm going to try that spirituality thing. And I'm like, I laugh. I'm like, okay, this is great. We need to choose. We must choose spirituality first. If we were taught anything since 2020, that was not what that was about. It was about the one eye, our third eye. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's a psychic wake up, shake up, spiritual awakening, dark night of the soul.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much for doing this. I feel like I could sit here and talk to you for hours.
Same here. I mean, the conversation is amazing, and I'm so glad I got to share my experiences. I mean, I think of one woman that I worked with in France 2 years ago to now, like her before and after pictures. She was a burnout, and now she is a career skills coach, living her best life. And she's one of my stars. I mean, we're all stars, but she's a shining example. And she almost didn't work with me, but I pushed her. I pushed back, actually. Anyways, that's another story. So
yeah, I would love to have you back, and maybe we can dive in a little bit more on just the highly sensitive entrepreneur, the empath entrepreneur. It comes up so much, and it's something that I've really had to work through, right? I'm you were reading my story, right? When you were talking about being highly sensitive, and it's something that I really work on as well. And a lot of it, people are attracted to me because they come to me because they're like, we can feel that that's from you, but yet you still show up. You still, in your marketing, right? You're still showing up. You're still putting yourself out there. You're still willing to be vulnerable. You're still doing the TED Talk. And how can I do that too? Right. And so it would be fun to maybe have another chat where we can talk about that a little bit more. But in the meantime, if people want to find you, and I know that you have a book, so tell us about the book. Tell us where to find you.
You can find me at christine.gold. Very easy. I made it simple.
And it's with the CH.
Yes,
not
the original, the OG. No, sorry. My first book, I'm writing my second. It's a prelude to Intuition Saved My Life, which is all about the dark night of the soul and spiritual awakening, is my memoir. But there's soul work in each chapter, which, you're not just reading and go, oh, that's nice. No, you get to do some work, and it's fun. It's soul work. It's light work. I mean, light, dark, right? There's work in all of it. So yeah, you can find that on Amazon. I also just released a oracle deck called The Empath's Journey. So, because I love working with cards. Cards are messages. That's an easy way, a divination tool for people to tap in to their own intuition, their own collective team, as I call it. My team is showing up.
I love oracle cards. I use them all the time, and I have a couple different decks. I'll have to get yours as well. Whenever I'm like, okay, where am I supposed to be going? Universe, give me some sort of a sign. It's just, you're right. It's a very beginner's way, because sometimes we're like sitting and meditating and I'm trying to figure it out, or I'm listening, but they can't get, it's very difficult sometimes to open that channel. So it's an easy way to do that.
It absolutely is. And it's fun. And if you're a very visual person, some of the decks people create are just mind blowing. I mean, yeah. So yeah, and I also have a podcast, and I am an aspiring TEDx talk speaker as well. So yeah, congrats on your talk. So that's something I aspire to do, and I've been told by many mentors that's my next evolution of Christine. So
yeah, well, if you ever want to talk about it, I would be happy to kind of share my experience with you. As at the moment of the recording of this, I have done my TED Talk, but it's still not out on YouTube yet. So I'm very excited for that. But it's been a real opportunity to strengthen, back to that spiritual connection, to really put my beliefs into action,
Yeah.
right? And like really being willing to stand up and share your most vulnerable things in an effort to be of service to others. Wow, that's a total trip. And knowing that it's going to go on to, you know, a YouTube platform with 40 million subscribers, it's a whole different level of pushing yourself and really kind of putting your, what is it? Putting your something where your mouth is. What's that saying? Anyway, you know.
Yeah. No,
But-
like you're walking the walk and talking the talk. And
yeah.
Brene Brown talks all about vulnerability. That is the pathway for others to open up and say, me too, I can do this, because she's doing it. And I feel so enlightened, I guess, is because you're piquing someone's curiosity. Curiosity is the key to creativity, and then that's the key to healing. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, I'm excited to see your TED Talk someday. I'm excited to check out your book. And thank you so much again for being a guest today. And I appreciate you. And full disclosure, public amends. I just wanted to say thank you so much. I have had to reschedule this. Like, I don't know what happened. The universe did not want us to meet until today for some reason. Every time we were supposed to meet, something insane kept coming up. And so I feel like we finally found the right alignment, but I apologize and I appreciate all of your flexibility.
No, it's all divine timing. We've got to let go the need to, this is how it's supposed to be. No, that's the ego. But yes, I thank you. I'm so glad we're here together.
Me too. All right. So if you guys enjoyed this podcast, which I'm sure you did, please look up Christine and give us a like and a share and tell all your friends. And if you know anybody else who would be a good guest, please send them my way. You can find me at sherrysutton.com or look for Sherry Sutton on all of the social platforms, and we will see you next time. Thanks again, Christine.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Bosses with Baggage. We are honored that you chose to spend your precious time with us. I hope that you are feeling inspired to reframe your setbacks into your superpowers so that you can change not only your life, but the life of everyone around you. If you enjoyed today's podcast, and I sure hope you did, please subscribe, rate, and share on your favorite podcast listener. And if you have any ideas for a future guest, or you need some help growing your business, I'd love to connect with you. You can find me directly on my website, which is sherrysutton.com, SherrySutton.com. We'll see you next time.